So now I'm going to put the same graph of the stopping distances of the toy car onto grid paper rather than just lined paper. And I already know that, and this time I want to have 2 centimetre widths. And instead of one line per 10 centimetres, I'm going to have 2 squares. So that would make a bigger graph, and I'll be able to fit in bigger columns. So I'm just checking that 20 centimetres would be 2 graphs, so about up from there to up there. And I know that I went up to 16 centimetres, so if I go there, I need to, and I want a bit of room, I need to start the x-axis about at this point here. Okay, so I've drawn up the axes, I've written in the categories, I've measured out 4 squares between each column, and the column with it is also going to be 4 squares. I've used 2 squares for each 10 centimetres in the y-axis. It's really important we start at 0 and label. Some students sort of just go and tick everywhere. Don't do that. Again, you have to be careful and accurate with graphs. So now I've got my labelled axes. I've been accurate about how I've put the graduations in, going up by 10 centimetres, making sure that these are called graduations or markers, are every 2 squares. And now I'm going to plot the data. So cardboard, remember, was 135 centimetres. So I go up to 130, there's 140, and it's a little bit easier this time with the grid paper to see where 135 is. And so I'll just put a mark there on the line. And again, I'm ruling and I'm making sure that that column line is ruled and straight, and it sits right on that grid line. The other side. I'm not going either side. I'm making sure I'm overlapping the line. And even if it's a short line, it is still ruled. Now remember, the stopping distance on bubble wrap was 8, and now I've got grid paper, I can be a little bit more accurate. So we know up to here is 5, and we know that is 10. So 8 is definitely going to be a little bit more than halfway between the 5 and the 10. So we can call it there. Another thing we could do is use, these are 2 of these squares is 1 centimetre or 10 mils. So if we want to get to 8, we could just use the millimetres, and I was almost right when I guessed right here. Remember that hand towel was 29, and again I'm going to use the millimetres on my ruler, so that is 10 millimetres, 20, and if I go up to just the 39, 1 mil, then I would accurately be able to show 29 in that column. So now I've completed another top column graph using the same data, but on grid paper. I've got my title, which is the same, my axis labels and units, but most importantly, the most important thing for column graphs is these distances between columns must be the same. You also don't want to put data up against the y-axis. You want to have a gap between the 0, so this is 0 on the y-axis, and the same width gap in between each column. As we saw on the last column graph, you don't have to have the width of the columns the same as the gap in between them, but they do need to be the same as each other.